Days were full of cutie and the flowers. Just randomly coming on here. I guess I was just gonna say, you know, you can't always expect people to know where you're coming from. And you can't hold that against them. I think sometimes when we're expressing things, and that's most of the time when miscommunication happens. Because we're like trying to express ourselves, but people can only like understand your emotional state within it, or maybe some of the beliefs behind it on where you're coming from, and they're like, you know, I think that's also why it's important to grow in compassion, because a lot of times, if you've never been where someone else has been, I need to cut my bangs, they're getting long, or, I don't know, you just can't relate because you are coming from a different standpoint in it. That's why it's always important that we try and meet the other person, where they are as close as we can. And even if we don't get it, we can always just pray about it and, I mean, not pray about it, I don't know what the hell I was saying. I just lost my train of thought. We can do our due diligence to try and relate or whatever. That's good enough. Or just listen. I think that's what I was gonna say. But just kind of like, recently I was trying to just vent, and I think that's important too. We can vent where we are at, or reflect on some things, even though our emotional states and the feelings within that shouldn't govern us so much. But in the long run, I just felt like a lot of people didn't get where I was coming from, and maybe that's because they've never experienced it, or skim over some of the things that you say and then take away what they want from it. But you know, and I don't hold anything against people that didn't quite get that, but it just made me realize that you know, we can't expect one another to always meet every need or every concern and fully understand one another, but we just let that go anyways. And usually it's just the resounding understanding with compassion towards another person that might be struggling is love. And so no matter what they say or what they try and come to understand of where you're coming from, if it doesn't quite meet, the message behind that is usually just love. And that love carries out to array of different things: compassion and care and concern, and that's all good. And so yeah, anyway, there's just moments where things just impede on you and try and make you doubt where you're at and all that stuff, and you just, like I said, you have a day or so, and then you get over it, and then you're like blasted in the glory, and then you're fine. And I guess the underlying message to this is just receive that love in whatever measure people can pour out. And if it's not, you can't give requirements behind that. You can't give expectations and then be disappointed. And I am speaking to the choir in that. And every time I try and like give out maybe some of the insights or wisdom I've learned, is just because I've dealt with it. Like, yeah, I get disappointed sometimes. I'm like, damn it, people really didn't get that, you know? But they can only give so much out from what their perception was perceiving with what I was saying, you know? That's fine, man. At least people care. That's the bigger concern. If no one cared, then I'd be like, what?